Oh, suit you, sir.
Suit you, sir.
Oh, suit you, sir.
Were you out with the lady last night, sir?
Oh, did she want it, sir?
Did she, sir?
Did she?
Did she want it, sir?
Oh, suit you, sir.
Suit you, sir.
Oh.
They often say, suit you, sir. Suit you, sir. And I'm like, it's nothing to do with me.
That phrase, suits you, sir, it's now in the lexicon of the language. It's there. Everybody says it.
I like the two guys in the shop, you know, suits you, sir.
I was walking down Oxford Street the other day. There was a shop called Suits You.
Ooh.
Ooh. Oh, sir. Oh. See, I could do that. Ooh. What's funny about that?
There was a bloke who worked at Hackney Council who did used to walk around like it was self-parody almost. You know, he did used to go, "Hello, sir. How are you today? All right. How are you? Radiant, sir. Were you out with the lady last night? Oh, did she want it, sir? Oh, suit you." So, you know, we
just stole
it and made him a tailor, you know, and put Mark Williams in to pop up.
It's normally me and Paul talking filth to anybody who'll have it. And as we put the costume on, it's a sort of licence to be disgusting.
Oh, picture you now, sir, strolling through the park, your cream suit, fresh, crisp, flowing beautifully as you push your lady wife up against a tree and give her a jolly good seeing to. Suit you. What did you say then? Give her a jolly good seeing to, sir. Taking a piss?
Is there a problem, Kenneth?
Yeah, there is a problem.
Why, sir? Doesn't the lady want it, sir? Doesn't she want it, sir? Have you tried tying her up, sir?
Oh, suit you.
Paul first come up with the Suit You characters for Harry, and I don't know why, but I don't think Harry sort of got it or liked it.
Oh, bloody suits you, sir, all the time. You know, I've got this character, suits you, sir, suits you. And Paul is relentless about these things, you see. When he gets it, ooh, suits you, sir, all the bloody time, and I never found it funny.
When I first read that, I went, oh, this is just Monty Python, you know, it's just the Croydon thing, you know, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, Croydon. And then it went on to become the most successful character in the whole series. So it proves how much I know.
People ask me what I'm doing, what I do day to day, and I say, oh, I'm a tailor. I'm in Savile Row. And they say, oh, suits you, sir. And after a while, it can, you know, it can get on your nerves a little bit.
He was probably being quite sneaky, Paul, creating all these characters, and if Harry didn't like it, he thought, right, I'll put that on the back burner, we'll use that ourselves later. I'll make a few £1,000 out of that one myself, do you know what I mean?
Well, most of my friends, they think that I actually float around saying, oh, sir, suits you. That's fantastic, sir.
How many times you said, oh, on camera?
Well, I'm trying to say it as much as possible.
Well, get them all out,
This is
Rich.
my big opportunity.
Ever been to a cockfight, sir? Two proud cocks, peak condition, advancing, menacingly, erect, ready to do battle. Brutal, sir. Brutal, but strangely compelling. They never give up, sir. Suit you, sir, suit you.
And there were lots of characters like that they'd come up with. I go, no, because I was the boss and I was in charge. No. Paul, no. No. Charlie, no.
Charlie, could you do your standard answer about how we engendered the Fast Show?
OK. We never intended to be Harry Enfield's writers full-time. It was just a job we were doing at the time. And while we were working on Harry Enfield television programme, we came up with a number of characters who, for one reason or another, were not suitable for the show. Either they didn't feature Harry in a prominent part, or he didn't think they were funny.
Or they weren't funny.
We had a press preview for my second series, and Jeff Posner, who directed it, had cut together a 5-minute version of the first half-hour show.
And we sat there looking at it,
and we thought, that's a good way to do it.
This is funnier than the actual show.
On, catchphrase, off.
Yeah, we were just surprised at how well the characters worked in little bits, and you didn't need a lot of the setup. So
really, I suppose we were on, catchphrase, joke, off.
Brilliant!
And thus was born the Fast Show.
The great... fucking Fast Show.
I thought, well, they can go and spread their wings. All right, they're little upstarts. You know, I invented them. I found you on a skip in Hackney, and you can go and do your show and no one will notice it, and you'll come grovelling back. I thought, cap in hand, bent over like this. We must learn from you, Harry. Yeah, I thought. But then they hitched up with some talented people, and look what happened.
Paul White used to come and see me perform at various stand-up places, and he used to say, "We're going to do a show one day, loads of little sketches, very quick, but you'll be good in it." And I went, "All right." And then he came back 3 years later, or whatever it was, and the rest is history, as they say.
I think Paul and Charlie, I hope Paul and Charlie thought I was funny, and so they just asked me to write some stuff, and I did, and then it all sort of grew from there, really.
I like the idea of using how much more visually literate people were, and the whole idea of it being fast and just using the parts of sketches that were important rather than great preambles, you know.
I knew when I read it, it was just quality.
Caroline had worked with John and Simon a lot.
And someone who we've, you know, who I'd seen on the circuit as well, who's, well, she's brilliant, you know.
I'm Sister Mary Immaculate, and a lot of people say to me, "What is heaven?" I say heaven is a place where, if on earth you've only got one leg, in heaven you will have two. If on earth you're ugly, in heaven you'll be beautiful. So it's great news for that girl there in the front.
When we were writing the first series, we were less sure of who was going to do what. There were a few bits that we obviously knew Paul was going to do because they were characters of his own. Others we were writing, we didn't really know who would do them.
Andy the Fairman was Paul and Charlie's character, and I thought it was great. They said, "We want you to do this one," and it was the first bit of filming I ever did for the Fast Show ever.
Andy, this is Christine. She's just come to join us in accounts. It's her first day.
Hello, pleased to meet you.
Look, Christine, forget it. It's over.
People said it came out really well because I was so nervous it came across as, in the character. I was really sort of edgy, but I felt I was terrified.
Ted, I don't really know how to say this without hurting you, and I'm very flattered and all that, but basically I'm just not gay.
If you look at me on film, you'll see the young boy with cheekbones, huge head of hair, twinkle in his eye, and this jaded old fool you see now, 3 series down the line.
Paul and Charlie said, "Why don't you do someone who's like you?" And I said, "What do you mean like me?" And they went, "Oh, you know, insecure and neurotic."
Does my bum look big in this?
We were going to do one where she was on a ledge with somebody who was trying to commit suicide. And she was going, you know, "You're wondering what everybody down there's thinking." Well, they're thinking, "Does she look fat in those shoes?" And then the guy was going to jump to get away from her.
Everybody's characters work because you've got to have another twist. It's no good just having funny man. It's got to be funny man or funny woman with very strange preoccupation, you know, in weird setup. Which was nice. Patrick Nice was Nick Coleman, who was was talking to me about sort of middle-aged actors who said, and then I did a telly, which was nice, and I just said, I'm nicking that, mate. I'm wearing that catchphrase. But then he turned into a bit of an Eldridge Pryor, you know. He just lied. or did he?
And I was rummaging around in the attic, and I found the original copy of the Bible, which was nice.
There's bound to be something you'll like in it, because there's so many different kind of characters, and all the characters are based from people that you could see anywhere.
Well, Ron Manager, they'll be debating that one in the pubs and clubs of Luton for some time.
Oh, yes, good first half, wasn't it? You know, a lot of intelligent running off the ball, isn't it? Marred only by the crowd disturbances, you know. Does alcohol have a part to play? It certainly does in my life, especially at Christmas and New Year.
Ron Manager is really is based on a bloke called Alex Stock. He's an old manager. He managed Luton, Fulham. I think he's at Yeovil. In fact, I was talking to someone yesterday, and he's now at Yeovil Town.
Well, it's like VE Day, isn't it? You know, I think they've got all the streets decorated. I think there's going to be a few... I think the kids are coming out for the jellies and blancmanges, and then they're sealing them off and getting the Joanna and the beer out later on.
But in his heyday, he would always answer a question with a question. So they say, and, you know, so what do you think of the first half then, Alex? He goes, "Oh, first half, isn't it? You know, ball knocked about, wasn't it? You know,
Far cry from small boys in the park, jumpers for goalposts, mortal fear of Parky. Who can blame them? Small boys in the hut.
Because it's what I used to do, play football in the park as a small boy with jumpers for goalposts. And then we made him mad, and, you know, it's...
Like most of them.
Yes, you know, they can go off into flights of fancy then. Wasps, oh, they're frightening, aren't they? Ah, especially in the car. My wife's left me. You know, that sort of thing.
Paul's the one who's effusive and lots of ideas and lots of lines, and Charlie's the disciplined one. He goes, yeah, no, that, structurally that will work with that. Like this, sits there, doesn't laugh, you know. Yeah, that's funny.
Paul and Charlie are like the perfect boss split in two, because Paul's everyone's mate and Charlie's just a sort of grumpy old so-and-so.
Sort of good cop, bad cop as well.
You've always got to be careful of the nice one. Know what I mean? Know what I'm saying?
We met in 1977 in Norwich at the University of East Anglia.
1977!
Yes, we were both punk rockers.
Student punks. And we've kept this far apart ever since.
When did we first meet Paul and Charlie?
You met Charlie years ago, didn't you?
I met Charlie 20 years ago in Norwich, and he used to flounce about in very much. This is not what I wear normally, but this is what Charlie used to wear, and this is what I've modelled myself on. And I used to flounce about Norwich wearing clothes very similar to this.
He was gorgeous then, wasn't he?
Oh, he was a hunk of Norwich.
He was called Switch. Switch Higson, bless him.
What did you call yourself?
Called myself Switch. I was young.
Hey.
I had bleached hair.
I was frightened of him, you know, I was sort of 16. And Charlie was 19 and lived with a girl.
I don't remember him. Just some little squid sleeping on someone's floor.
He's bald now.
Oh.
When I first met Charlie, he was a star because he was in his own group called the Higson.
Politician, bureaucrat, bureaucrat, hold me back, get out of my way. Journalists, some moralists, some businessmen and priests, act like keepers in the zoo and I sport devil's please.
We had 3 albums and a number of singles. I don't know how you can describe that as being a frustrated pop star, so much as a pop star. Well, a minor singer in a very small, unsuccessful band.
A pop, really,
a pop
is what you
performer. No, but it's a young person's thing.
Comedy's what, an old middle-aged man's game?
Yes.
I think it is, actually, yeah.
I started writing with Paul and Charlie 87. I invented them because Charlie had sort of, the Higsons had stopped, I think, by then, and Paul, I really wanted to write with Paul.
Harry kind of encouraged me to write with him, and I employed Charlie as my armed wing so that I could pretend to be nice and I could get Charlie to do the dirty work.
I was doing Stavros, and they were far funnier. Paul was funny. I said, will you write? He said, only if Charlie does it, otherwise I won't get up in the morning.
Well, Kevin chappies, I'm feeling really frustrated this week. Really frustrated. Can you guess why? That's right. I really want to give myself one. Ew, no! Stop in the mess about! I'm a fag!
If I'd known that they get uppity when I first hired them to write for me for nothing, that they would get so big for their boots and start demanding money and then go on to be these sort of rather ludicrous cult figures, I never would have let it happen.
I think the Fast Show is complete and utter bollocks. I like the Fast Show a lot. I find it very funny.
When I first saw the Fast Show, and it's one of those reviews that I occasionally wake up in the night sweating about, I thought it was atrocious. Ill-conceived, badly performed, badly scripted, gibberish, really.
It's the context that's important, and that was really one of the things that I didn't get about the Fast Show was the cutting out of the context, of all context, so you're just left with someone saying, suits you, sir, which in itself isn't funny.
Just before it went out, I did a couple of interviews, I think with Time Out, when I remember thinking, oh my God. I was recalling what sketches were going in the first episode, thinking, was it too laddish? Is it? And I did have a few moments of thinking, White House fails to excel in weak sketch show. That's...
So here's the verdict. We find the defendant guilty of co-writing and starring in the most dazzlingly awful comic sketch show for a very long time. In fact, you have to go all the way back to Monday and to Russ Abbott's show for anything comparable. So there we are. I'm afraid you can't argue with that. There it is in black and white. It's not something that gives me any tremendous professional pride, I must confess. What am I meant to say? What are you asking me to say?
I said the Fast Show was like a fart in my review is it's something that makes you laugh but isn't intrinsically funny.
It did what we wanted, which was build up a big sort of swell of underground support.
Did it?
Yeah, it was the sort of thing that people started saying, oh, you must watch this. I said, oh, I watched the first one, it was rubbish. They say, no, well, what are you going to watch more?
What, and then it's rewarding?
It's rewarding, you are rewarded with toffees and nuts.
This idea that you have a show with a lot of very fast sketches in it is appealing. And then when they actually do have a remarkably high quality throughout, I mean, there have been quite a few shows since, what they call broken comedy in TV terms, of these little sketch shows since, which I don't think any of them have really achieved the success rate within the body of a given show that the Fast Show have.
I think one of the reasons it worked, the show worked, was that because there was a large group of people involved in it on the kind of writing and performing level, that the self-editing process was very strict.
Well, Mark Williams makes up a lot of his own characters. Jesse
Usually
Mark
from talking to small children.
Yeah, he does talk to too many small children. I think.
If he didn't make us laugh, then it wasn't working, you know. And I think everybody accepted that very quickly.
This week, I have been mostly eating Bourbon biscuits.
I'd been to New York and I came back and I got a really nasty bug. And I was in the flat and all I could do was kind of drag myself out every now and again and get something to eat. And I was going to Safeway and buying pre-cooked chicken. I was kind of thinking this week I'll be mostly eating chicken.
He's never written comedy, Mark, so I think he was also a bit nervous and he would really get a lot of stick, Mark. Because Paul would be like, actor, yeah? You actor, are you? I'm a comedian, I'm directing and comedy.
When I show Paul and Charlie my material, they don't take any prisoners. They just sort of go, no, oh, why do you think this is funny? Oh, that's quite good. But then, you know, that's my relationship with them.
Someone would have written a character and we'd all be going like that, say Mark would stand up and start doing it and it would, you know, be tough. You'd have to be funny there and then. Paul would go, well, yeah, and Charlie would say, what's the joke? Because Charlie's hardest now. Charlie would just go, yes, well, it's a sort of copy of so-and-so, isn't it? And you'd just deflate you. But you had to get it past the sort of panel, which would be all the others, you know.
I mainly came up with Girly Boys Can't Hear from rehearsals of the Fast Show. Because I just sit there and they all talk to each other and everybody ignores me.
Are you a member of the AA?
No. We'll smash a window.
Can't do that.
Listen, I know what to do. You get a tennis ball, cut it in half, and then put it over the lock, and then smash it with the palm of your hand, and the air pressure forces the lock up. There's a sports shop just round the corner.
Oh, I got it. I know. You want to get a tennis ball, cut it in half, right? Put the half over the lock there, give it a little tap with the palm of your hand, and the air pressure pops the whole lock up. You're in. Bingo.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a sports shop just round the corner.
Brilliant.
Problem solved. Right, I'll tell you what, though.
Can any of you actually hear me?
And Simon admitted it. He went, oh, this is a good character. He said, it's us lot, isn't it? And I went, yep.
When I did a Billy Bleach sketch about golf, which was I basically wanted to make a comment about racism in America and the golf courses, and it was right at the end. Paul came before I went on. He said, you know, you can't say this. You know, it's Tiger Woods. It was about Tiger Woods saying Tiger Woods is mixed race. He's part Vietnamese, part Dutch, part American, part white man.
The Afro-American, right? That's his natural grace for his driving, right? The Vietnamese for when he's in the rough. You got me? All the jungles and that, they have a network of tunnels. The Dutch in him makes him laid back for his temperament.
And the white man in him means you can get on the course in the first place. And we came up with that just before it went on, which it's one of my favourite sketches there.
One shouldn't underestimate the contribution of Simon Day, of John Thompson, of Arabella to the show, because all the various characters they bring to life, I mean, somehow they leaven it out.
I love Competitive Dad. Well, I mean, I don't do very much in that, except for sort of, you know, go, what a twat.
Come on, boys, cricket bat. Stumps. Balls. And scorepad and pen, you can get that. Right, come on, let's make chop, chop.
I saw quite a few I just sort of noticed dads with their kids, and I was in a swimming pool once, and there was a dad there with two little kids, and they were pretty young. One of them had water wings on, one of them was like a baby, and one was very young. And he was saying, it was like a race, you know, and they said, yeah, Dad, yeah, they're like that. And he went to the side of the pool, and I assumed he'd let them win, and he just took off, this bloke, and just hammered across the pool like that, and then waited at the end of the pool like that, going, like that, and one of the kids was drowning, do you know what I mean? He was swallowing water like that and coming up again, do you know what I mean? It was like the most important thing that ever happened to them. And the older kid beat the kid with water wings, do you know what I mean? That was a triumph for him, you know, taking the dad's lead. The dad sat there like that going, do you know what I mean? He was genuinely really pleased, and I thought, that is sick.
Over here. Come on, come. Your mother will adjudicate. Right then, No. Underarm. Be a lot easier for you. You just get my sight. Thank you. Ebola. There we go. 4, 5, 6, 4, 26. 26 of the Queen's runs.
Loads of dads have come up and said, "Oh, you've done me up. You have." You know, that's what my kids say I am.
Was it on telly? Yeah. She was on telly.
I first met Paul and Charlie when they worked for Harry. I knew them very, very loosely then, but I was about to start on a new project for Channel 4, which was called 1 Hour with Jonathan Ross.
It's myself, Paul and Charlie and Vic and Bob, and we were part of a game show called Knockdown Ginger, which was quite crap, really.
People would be got out of the audience, they'd go and knock on doors, and various funny characters and celebrities.
Humorous characters
would
would emerge.
open the door and ask them a question, and we got
half-assed bollocks.
But
it was great fun to do, wasn't it?
It was very basic, but kind of effective. It was like a lot of this stuff, you know. It's funny and you're laughing, but you don't really know why.
Charlie was very quiet. Couldn't work him out at all, really. He was just very, very quiet and kept himself to himself. But Paul, I liked immediately, you know. I mean, I did like Charlie, but he was just quiet. But Paul was very, just very funny.
OK, 5 points, another door.
5.
Door number 5. It's Mike Smash the DJ.
Hi kids, Mike Smash here, Radio Fab's most flip-flap, flobber-dabba-dobbulous DJ. Smashing, I did Mike Smash, Britain's most poptastic DJ, for the first time on that programme. And history was made. Radio and
what did Bob Mortimer say?
Paul, that Mike fucking Smash is fucking terrible.
We've known them very well, and I can always remember that, you know, they wanted to do their own sketch show. Then, you know, Paul had started doing a bit of stuff with Harry, and Charlie had done a lot with us, hadn't he?
Swiss Tony was created by Vic and Bob. I did it first on Smelleries and Mortimer. Sketch on that.
Who's your favourite character, love? My favourite character is Swiss Tony.
When you're selling a car to a man, it all comes down to who's got the biggest todger. You have to make him think that his is bigger. But in order to sell it to him, you have to know that yours is the biggest. You have to keep telling yourself, I've got the biggest todger in the world.
I've got the biggest todger in the world.
It's not as big as mine, Paul. As big as mine.
The voice was based on my feeble attempt to do Sean Connery.
Swiss Tony is everywhere. You think he's a ridiculous, overdrawn stereotype that couldn't possibly exist, but I know 1,000 Swiss Tonys.
Do I find you reading a book, Paul?
Yeah, sorry, Swiss, there were no customers, and well, it's a guidebook. I'm going camping at the weekend.
Putting up a tent is very much like making love to a beautiful woman. Unzip the door, put up your pole, and slip into the old bag.
My favourite character to play, Jazz. Jazzman. I had no idea how popular it'd be. It's just a joy to do.
Hello, and welcome back to Jazz Club. Nice. Tonight, Dinner Jazz
is a cross between Whispering Bob Harris and Roger Moore.
Hello, welcome to Western with some really fine music again tonight.
Hello. We're very pleased to have on the show perhaps the most popular exponent of dinner jazz working in America, Stepney Green with his band, the New Headhunters. Great. It's not the original Headhunters lineup, of course. I mean, how could anyone really replace the late and legendary Charlie the Bulb Robeson? But the new drummer, Mint Green, under the tuition of his brother Soylent, is really quite good. And one day, he'll make a great jazz musician.
I remember getting on a train, going to the bussy wagon part of the train, walking through the thing, and kids went, jazz, man. And I walked, got my sandwiches, came back, and they went, nice. And I turned around and I went, great. And they went, way! And I made their day. That was great.
really great.
I think that's quite slightly ironic, actually, that people are coming up to him to say to him things that, you know, I used to say as an aside, which he's now... I mean, there's a kind of irony in that, isn't there, really?
Lovely. Great. Amazing.
Really nice.
People see me in the street and they go, then there's no catchphrase they can think of. They now say there's someone sitting there, because I managed to come up with one catchphrase after 3 series, in a series based on catchphrases. Someone sitting there, mate.
You in Sydney? Right. I was standing on Clapham Junction and this train pulled in and I was just stood where the driver was and he just went and drove off, which I thought was pretty cool.
You sort of get characters that the Fast Show would sort of take the piss out of doing characters from the Fast Show, do you know what I mean? I love the fact people can't really recognise themselves in the characters.
I'm an alien!
Are you really, Colin?
I'm an alien!
Oh, did you watch it last night?
Watch what?
I'm an alien. You know, on BBC Two.
No, I don't watch it.
Oh, you must! It's the best sketch show that's been on for years.
I think there's a lot of Colin Hunts in offices enacting the Fast Show, which is why we did that sketch where he's trying to enact his favourite sketch show.
Bonjour, Monsignor. No, like I say, Colin, I watched The Other Side with my wife Tessa, yeah. Programme about wildlife, about stag beetles. No, it's really, really good. They've got these massive antlers, really big, and they fight each other and gouge stuff out each other's bodies. It's incredible.
Paul, is that Paul?
Piss off, Colin.
The bit I did like was the foreign television where they all spoke nonsense, which actually was the bit that was closest to being satire.
Just thought, Channel 9, that is just shit. That's just kids mucking about. That is not funny. And now it really makes me laugh, but at the time I just thought, what's funny about this?
Republic presente. Tottenham against Tessera. Channel 9.
Bono estente.
Bono estente. Lacrimos sputa e falio ming. Debutto poco wich ya wich. Patandra milio Patagonia.
Channel 9 was supposed to be every foreign country. There's a bit
of Welsh in there.
Swedish,
Swedish,
German, bit of Greek, because I did Greek at school.
Ac nopo dopra fila whiskas, fulla meaty goodness.
Charlie wanted full breast nudity in every Channel 9 sketch.
I said, what is the point?
vehemently argued.
What is the point of parodying a programme and not actually making it as extreme as the programme you're parodying?
I'll see Lingy's mouth.
It was not some moral crusade you were on. You wanted to see some tits jiggling up and down.
No.
Yes.
All right, there's a small part of it.
When we get the girls in that are doing the odd sketch, you know, the bustier, prettier girls, it's like being in a boys' changing room. They're all like...
Raibina. Mantinato, adios ton wonderbra favore. El Presidente!
They're caught between something. I can't really do this because, you know, I'm a comedian and I should know better. And then going, bloody hell, you seen the tits on that?
Chris Waddle. Scopolos emir cantathos enzyme scandabrod.
The guy I was rooming with, John Ox, sort of looked at us and went, did you hear that? And I sort of went, I did, but are you sure it was me? And then the photo came up.
Falia hella, falia hella, falia hele, Chris Waddle.
And it kept going on and on.
Pshit lagrados tic metafondu Chris Waddle.
Week after week, it continued. And everywhere I was going now, people were coming up and saying, hey, did you see the Fast Show? I saw you. Why do they keep saying your name?
We like the idea on Channel 9 that occasionally English words pop out. And you were on the Welsh thing, wasn't it?
Well, it's because
the
Welsh language is top of the wardrobe. Remove the brickwork. Margaret Thatcher.
So we just wanted to shove in... It's the sort of thing you start and you think, well, let's think of an English name to put in there, and you come up with Chris Waddle, and then you think, wouldn't it be really funny to just keep repeating this over and over again, and then in the end it might look like a joke.
I want to give you a word, let you try it on for size. The word is naturism. Now, today, I'm wearing a simple thong. Now, there might be kids or old people watching, but normally, at this time of day, I'll be au naturel. Or to put it another way, stark bollock naked. Now...
Who's worse fluffing their lines? I would say me, top. Me and John, we alternate, but I'd say me, probably.
If you're interested in naturism, write to Dave Angels. Sorry.
John did a spectacular performance on Denzel Dexter.
He did.
And I think it was
That's only
John's
32
character, but
takes.
didn't we write...
It might have been a sketch written for him.
I've got a score. I think I've got a score. And go.
The mind is a powerful tool, but we have...
And it's take.
But we have not yet begun to tap into its power...
After take.
And we have not yet begun to tap into its awesome potential.
Start again. After take.
Shit, sorry.
The human mind was not an incredible thing that day, and I was, quite frankly, rubbish.
I'll go back over here and do it again, because I am a turkey. The mind is a powerful tool, but we have not been and we have not yet begun to tap into it. But we have not...
What do you think of the show so far?
But
I remember Charlie in the end wrote down the words on an idiot board for him, and held it up like that, and it said, "I am a..."
Rowley Birkin is my absolutely favourite, and I'd like that. I wish, I had that.
Cairo. Yes. Maybe passing through the rest of it.
Almost everybody I remember at school's father. They're all like that. And I quite liked him. But I sort of liked him once.
I first met Paul fishing in Iceland, 94, 5.
Rowley Birkin was based on a guy you went fishing with once, wasn't
Rowley Birkin, yeah, I met this bloke fishing.
A lovely river, hubbling, bubbling, and the new lodge looks both ways, so you sit in the veranda and look up the river or down the river.
Large, a poisonous monkey. Yes, interesting.
If they come zooming in on you to sting you, and they stop about an inch off and say, "Good God, no, this won't do," and they fly away again, and then you don't get stung.
Snake! Snake!
I have a dram or two, but I don't think more than that. I was certainly never conscious of anybody being drunk.
I freely admit that I was very, very drunk.
My favourite characters in the whole show would have to be Ted and Ralph. Yeah, I think it would probably have to be Ted and Ralph. Because it's just so sweet and so sort of mad and so weird and so many different kind of levels to it.
We used to get the scripts and we'd read them and you'd go through them and you'd think, oh, and like Mark would always go, "Oh, can I play that?" But me and John wouldn't be so like. But when we saw Ralph and Ted, me and John were like, "Can we do this?" Straight away. I mean, we both did it. We read it like that and then went, "Can we do this?" And they went, "No, that's ours."
So to find this kind of odd relationship, this odd kind of like unrequited love, or at least I assume it's unrequited, but this unrequited love which will not be bound by class or sexual alignment, which has to break out, and is almost reciprocated in a sort of touching sort of way. It's I know they're going to hate me for saying this, but it's actually verging on the profound.
Ralph! I'm sorry, Clive, I was, what were you saying? Ted and Ralph were created by... Graham and Arthur, Graham Linehan and Arthur Matthews, who write Father Ted and Big Train. And before they were famous and too busy to work with us, they gave us a few ideas.
When we were selling the idea to him, I thought I was putting on a country in a British accent.
Yeah, kind of West Country accent.
Going, "Hello there," and Paul just said, "Hello there."
Which is why...
Why he ended up with why I did him with an Irish accent. Well, I'll do him Irish then.
Get a move on, you silly little man.
I'm sorry, sir. The dog was a little bit slow.
Don't you blame my dog.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir.
I beg your pardon?
I said I'm sorry, sir.
Oh, begorra. He's a bloody bog trotter. Not away from home, aren't we, Paddy?
Like that, sir.
What did you say?
Nothing, sir. I didn't say anything. Talk like that, sir.
What?
Clive, look, they've startled some birds. Ah, two, they've gone.
There was a good chance that Ted and Ralph would have been chucked out. But having said that, they stuck with it, even when audiences just kind of were a tiny bit puzzled at the start. They really stayed with it, and it was very brave of them.
Are you doing anything on Friday, Ted?
Well, there's plenty to do down in the lower fields, what with the drainage problem.
No, you misunderstand me, Ted. I did mean in the evening. It's just I have a couple of tickets for Tina Turner.
All right, sir.
Do you like Tina Turner, Ted?
I wouldn't know about that, sir.
No.
I thought, bloody hell, Charlie's a brilliant actor. And it was the first time I was really aware of it. Because I just think he's fantastic in Ted and Ralph. And Paul is as well, you know what I mean? But Charlie's the sort of the revelation.
I'm very fond of Ted and Ralph, mainly because it was the first sort of big character I'd ever done on the telly. And I did it very well. No, I enjoyed doing it, and I remember looking at it and thinking, oh, it's all right, maybe I can do this. And he has been a popular character, and he's good fun to do. But I mean, I like all of them. I like other people's characters as well.
Do you, Charlie?
No.
Best sketch of the last 10 years is the Ted and Ralph potato, tomato, your wife. Yours for it, or play the game.
I think it's probably ended up as my favourite sketch we did when they're in the pub and he gets involved in this drinking game. Is Ted really...
Tomato, ears, aubergine, your potato, drinks.
It's all right, we've got a new nominee.
Well, hey!
It's just a private matter.
Bong!
Tomato, it's aubergine, a potato, private turnip matter.
Ah, so you get the hang of it now, that's right.
That's right, don't be embarrassed, sir. Go on, it's just a little bit of fun.
Tomato, Ted, aubergine, your potato, wife's turnip dead. Sorry, I mean, tomato, sorry.
Actually, it was a very dull process for me, filming Ted and Ralph. So that's all I do, go... Sorry, you know. And I like the end product, but I always found the actual filming of it very dull.
But I'm professional. I'm sure I never gave it away for a moment.
Well, I was so engrossed in my own performance, I didn't even notice what you were
Surely
doing,
not.
It was absolutely marvellous when Paul won the BAFTA and not me. I'd trained him up for many years, and finally it was a bit like Elsa the Lion. There was Paul getting this award and not me. I was overjoyed.
Paul Whitehouse for the BAFTA.
Ta.
Sorry, Harry.
I did feel very, very sorry for him. His sad little face there.
I know. Yeah. And Lucy, his beautiful wife, dressed up.
Yeah, he'd worked so hard for many years on his television stuff. Although I never thought he was that good after I stopped working with him.
It is one of those shows which, just due to the nature of the characters and the way they have entered people's lives, the way the catchphrases have become an important part of people's lives, I think it's, you know, it is, I suppose, if you wanted to brand it such, you could say it was the Python of its generation.
You know, I think the trick is it is so fast, you don't have time to think this is bollocks, isn't it? And then you realise, no, it isn't.
It's deconstructed humour. I mean, it just comes all the way down just to, you know, there's just cut to the ejaculation.
I think the main reason it became a hit was because it's very, very good.
And we're very, very good in it.
Yes.
Yes.
And people slowly came to that understanding.
They're very, very good.
Yes, they'd say to it in person, I saw it, it's very good, isn't it?
I thought they were bad, but actually they're very, very good.
I think it's the best job in the world, so it's not hard, you know, and we all get on well, and we had a laugh at the same time.
Yeah, we had a lot of laughs. I mean, we all make each other laugh, immoderately.
sometimes, you know, the atmosphere can be quite sort of hairy, and sometimes it's a real laugh. It's just like being at school, really.
The end of Series 3 was the best moment. Just getting away from those sad, tired faces.
A quick daft character who comes on with a funny wig and shouts arse.
Yeah.
That is in essence.
That's really, yeah. That's all it is, isn't it? Arse! Put on a bloody wig or a tash and say a word and get off.
Ed Winchester, it was a tragedy.
We don't really discuss him.
It's just terrible. I don't know why they used it.
No, I can't say.
Paul won't like that if you talk about him.
It was just that we didn't want to use him. It was nothing to do with any of the other stuff that didn't happen.